championship predictions. Oh yeah. League championship predictions. Check them out.
What's up, YouTube? It's Sean from Broadsword Media. So, in this video, we are doing the League Championship Series predictions. Let's start out with the American League Championship Series. We have the Toronto Blue Jays against the Cleveland Indians. Now, it doesn't surprise me the Blue Jays got here, because I expected them to beat the Rangers. And actually, to be honest, I was putting it nicely by saying it would be close between the Blue Jays and Rangers. I actually didn't really expect the series to go all that well, being that the Rangers pitching was just that bad. Although I didn't expect it to be a sweep, I did expect it to be pretty easy for the Blue Jays. As for the Indians and Red Sox, it's funny, I actually initially was going to predict the Indians, but then chose the Red Sox based on their playoff experience and having such a powerful offense. Well, not powerful, but having such a consistent offense. I had not expected the Indians to sweep the Red Sox at all. That just came as a huge surprise. The ALCS is a pretty tough matchup to predict. Both the Indians and the Blue Jays have pretty much crushed their opposition. The Blue Jays have yet to lose. The Indians have yet to lose. So this is a weird series. It's a series that could end in a sweep or end in a full-on 7 games. The Blue Jays have been kicking butt in the playoffs. They have the most postseason home runs. They have a solid batting average. They're just kicking butt. But it's kind of expected that the Blue Jays, their offense would explode against a Texas Rangers team that had such a poor ERA. The Cleveland Indians, while their offense hasn't been as explosive, their postseason batting average is the best out of all teams, and that was against the Boston Red Sox, who are a much better pitching team than the Texas Rangers. I decided to only focus on how these teams have done during the postseason and not focus on regular season, because my predictions during the previous rounds were based on regular season prowess, and it didn't seem to do good enough. You'll especially see that as evident when I talk about the National League matchup. This is a tough match to call, but I'm going to give the slight edge to the Toronto Blue Jays. Not only because of their power, but both of them are good at hitting and getting on base. Both of them have good team ERAs. Blue Jays obviously have the best slugging percentage. While the Indians have a greater chance of stealing more bases than the Blue Jays, it's not going to matter so much in this series. But I'm picking the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, this is what's really confusing, because both these teams have been so dominant, there's a chance that one team could just totally obliterate the other, or that both these teams could be so good that it goes down to 7 games. But I'm going to pick the Blue Jays to just edge out the Indians in 7 games. I think it also helps the Blue Jays were in the ALCS last year, and they only lost to the team, Kansas City Royals, that ended up winning the World Series that year. So I think the Blue Jays, with that past experience and the motivation to try to rise above it, I think they could win it this time. Now let's talk about the National League Championship Series. This matchup I'm a little more comfortable predicting. Both the Dodgers and Cubs haven't really been hitting all too well during the playoffs so far. But then again, they both had to go against some pretty strong pitching teams. The Dodgers just barely squeaked past the Nationals in 5 games. Their team ERA actually is kind of shaky. But the Cubs, they're looking good in that regard. So I'm pretty comfortable in saying that I think the Chicago Cubs should win this. But there is another factor that makes this not a complete 100% certainty. I was completely certain the Nationals would beat the Dodgers. I actually felt confident the Nationals could have swept the Dodgers, but I predicted the Nationals would beat the Dodgers in 4. Instead, the Dodgers beat the Nationals in 5. And I was shocked by that, because I looked at every single statistical category, every single significant statistical category, and the Nationals beat the Dodgers in all of them. So I figured because of that, the Nationals were just a much better team, and the Dodgers, they just, squeaked right by them and just outplayed them where it counted in the division series and advanced. And that could very well happen with these Dodgers against the Cubs, although in my personal opinion, while the Dodgers did win the National League West and the Giants were just a wild card out of that division, I do think the Cubs are going to have an easier time hitting off of the Dodgers pitching than they did against the Giants. The recent success of the Giants winning the World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014 is primarily contributed to their dominant pitchers. They had other key contributing factors, but that was their primary contribution. And that was their primary contribution of how they even made it to the playoffs this year, and how they even won a single game against the Cubs in the first place in the divisional series. And that was 100% right. I called it. The Cubs would beat the Giants in 4. I totally called that. Right from the get-go, the Chicago Cubs were the #1 favorite to win it all before the regular season had even started. I mean, they were that good. Everybody knew they were going to be so good. So the Dodgers are going in there as the underdog, but also as a very experienced playoff team that's been in the playoffs for the last 4 consecutive years, 2013 to now 2016. This could be their time to finally advance past the NLCS to the World Series. But I just don't think they can do it. The Cubs are just too good. They're just too good. They really are, but it would be unfair of me to say that they'll sweep the Dodgers. I do not think that's going to happen. The Dodgers will put up a fight. They're showing some pretty good power so far. Batting average needs a little work on it, but needs a little work on it. Both these teams do, but they both were against good pitching before they got here anyways. Cubs definitely pitching better than the Dodgers are. So I got to give the advantage to the Cubs. The Cubs should win this in 5 games. 5 games. The Dodgers will get a win at home, but I think the Cubs will be able to seal a deal and return to the World Series for the first time since, I think it was like 1948, I think it was. That's the last time they were there. Obviously, the last time they won it was 1908. Been a long wait for the Chicago Cubs. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my World Series predictions. Hopefully, I'm right on both of these because these are the 2 teams I really want to see go there, actually. Actually, I'd rather see the Indians in the American League, but because of just their long drought of World Series as well. But I would love to see the Cubs against the Blue Jays for sure. Hope you enjoyed. I hope for those of you who have continued watching this from my previous playoff predictions from playoff rounds, I hope you guys have been enjoying those and enjoyed this as well. Thank you so much for those who have actually started subscribing after watching these. I have noticed that my subscriber count has actually started to go up after uploading these, and that's inspired me to still push on with this when the next year when the MLB playoffs come back on again. Much later, of course, because I almost thought about just not even bothering with doing the big playoff predictions because of how rushed I have to be about doing them. But being that people are actually watching them, commenting on them, liking them, and there are some dislikes, I know, and I'm getting subscribers from people watching them, I'll keep on doing this because I enjoy making these predictions, and I'm glad that you, the viewer, and some of you, the subscriber, enjoys watching them. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with everyone you know and love. Let them know about this video, and let them know about all my sports predictions and any other videos that interest you from my channel. And I'll keep this going. World Series predictions will be coming up when the league championships, when both the ALCS and NLCS are over with. Thank you so much.